very important business to get to.
Let's do it.
Because the mayor is here. Let's go ahead and bring him in. The mayor of Frankfort, Layne Wilkerson, is here. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, and it's good to be back. It's been a few months.
Yeah, it's
you
nice to
were
have
noting
you.
we have our new desk and chairs here. You haven't been in the
I
new
like
set.
the new dig.
Yeah.
It's comfortable
That's
and functional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we like.
Yeah, that's what we like too. We're a little more comfortable, lower to the ground a little bit. Just bring people in, a little home atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think for folks.
Easier in and out.
It does
Yeah, that's
change.
right.
It does change quite a bit over the years. You all do stay on the cutting edge of technology, and
Yeah.
we have to give a shout out to the plant board for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now and always. Yeah, we try to stay up on it and innovate. But speaking of staying up on things, we know we got some stuff we want to update our viewers on going on with the City of Frankfort. You have like a small singing bridge update. Is that right?
I will. Yes, I will get to that. It is.
Oh, okay.
It is that time of year where it's January. It's a good time to update on everyone and kind of recap what happened last year.
Right.
And,
That's right.
And talk about the priorities going forward, state of the city, if you will, which we are doing next week, next Tuesday at 8:30. But I will say that I'll start with some good news if that's all right. We did get a 2 weeks ago now, a week and a half ago, we did find out the city did that we received a second grant for the Home Street project. And this is a pretty big deal because the first grant was a big deal, and that was a Department of Transportation, over $20 million grant to improve accessibility and improve the streetscape and really just bring Home Street up to date and reconstruct it. But it only took us part of the way. It did a lot of the road, but not all of it. So what we did, we were pretty proactive on this, and the city was, and asked for a second round. It's a different grant, but it is still Department of Transportation, but we were successful in that, and that's over $8 million. Wow. And it also unlocked a matching grant from the state of Kentucky, which is over $7 million. So if you add in the state's contribution, the federal contribution, all of that is over $36 million in public investment that will be going into the Home Street corridor, which now will go all the way from Main Street, High Street, all the way down to Home Street to the Thornhill bypass. So we're pretty excited about that because we know once the public dollars go in, we expect it'll improve the values of everything around there, and long overdue. So we're excited about that, and so just stay tuned on with more details on that. There is actually a public forum at Memorial Baptist Church. I think it's next Tuesday. If anybody wants to learn more about that. But Singing Bridge, speaking of infrastructure and things in Department of Transportation, we are, for the public's benefit here, that we are still waiting on the state of Kentucky Department of Transportation to complete testing. They've hired a third-party consultant, Michael Baker International, to do the testing. And once they get the results back from that, which I think it's starting to trickle in, and they're able to digest that, we'll know what the options are and what the associated costs are. And so really the state has they've not made a determination. I want to make sure everybody out there knows that no determination has been made on the Singing Bridge, and that the City of Frankfort is working with the state. I'm in communication with Secretary Gray recently as last week, and we're advocating for this. Everyone knows how important the bridge is, both logistically and historically. And I just want to reassure the public that this is something, it's on the front burner. Just because not a lot of information is out there yet, just because there's not a lot of information yet, we have to wait and see what the options are. But we know how important it is, and we're advocating for the City of Frankfort's interest in this, and we want to make sure that that there's something open there as soon as possible.
Well, and that's important for you guys, not just, it's not like the state would steamroll, but if there's no local feedback, then they just kind of do what they might think is the best. And if you don't have the folks here locally saying, hey, have you thought about this? Or, this is really important to us, to give that help guide that path.
And I think that's my role in the conversation. Of course, engineers are going to do their work, and engineers are going to communicate with engineers, the city and the state, and then the consultants. But the mayor needs to make sure that the state knows what the public wants, and that's and what the City of Frankfort wants, and that's what we're doing. And so,
and you don't want anybody to make a snap decision on something like that, and not have everything kind of considered and all the facts kind of presented. And so.
And we're going to do, the City of Frankfort's going to do our part. Last year we did apply for another grant, and you'll see there's a theme here. We're always looking for more grant money, both from the state and the federal government. But we did apply for there was a bridge investment program grant that we applied for to upgrade the Singing Bridge when it was still operational and with the information we had at that time. And that total ask was around $8 million, just over it. But now that we know, and we didn't get that, but it rated very highly. But now that we have this information that the bridge is not operational, and we expect that the cost will be more than that, then I expect we'll go back in and make another ask to help the state make a decision that is in line with the City of Frankfort's wishes.
Right. You mentioned grant writing with the Home Street funding as well. Can I just give a brief plug for the City of Frankfort and the city staff?
Yes,
like the grant writing. I mean, that's not I think a lot of people might be a little confused, and they might think, oh, it's just you just fill out an online form or something and hit submit, and that's it. There's a lot that goes into it. So shout out to the city staff, honestly, for doing that.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that, because it is a lot of work. People don't understand particularly when you're dealing with the federal government, how much information you have to give and the process you have to follow, and it's not easy, and it does take some time. And I think we're in a good position. We have a good resource, City Hall, where we're proactive. We have a consultant in DC who helps identify opportunities. We're constantly letting our consultants know what we're looking for, the projects we need to and they help us find the money. And there's other things that we have out there too that we hope that we'll hear at some point this year. One's another $20 million grant application we have that will help with weatherization and renewable energy for homeowners. It's a no match. I don't know if it'll make it through this new administration, but if it does, we have a very good application in for that too. And there's other things I hope we can announce here in the near future where we're successful. I won't jinx them.
Yeah. Right. So another update for us, is there anything new with recycling and I guess Rouse Avenue?
I don't know how new it is, but we did talk about it at the last City Commission meeting, but we expect that the facility will be good to go at the end of February, which you know how these things are. We have ServPro in there rehabbing it, plus or minus a couple of weeks. But I expect it. My hope is that March, maybe April, we're able to start recycling again, because I know personally, both from the Singing Bridge and the recycling, how much of an inconvenience this is, and having to adjust how you recycle. And I know a lot of people are probably just throwing trash away and recycling objects away, and they don't want to, because it is hard to get. You can't go to the sheriff's office. There are other locations, but this is something that I know personally. We're doing what we can to get that operational as soon as possible.
Yeah, and like you said, there's a lot of people who are really just finger on the pulse, really wanting to find out when they can start recycling again, or excited about it. And I think it says a lot about the community at large that people are
care that much
about it. Yeah,
and I think with our commission, it's very important to us to we all are. We ask the same questions that the community would ask, and that's we hope March.
Okay.
I know there have been times when we've gone to like travel for vacation or something, and we end up in a place that doesn't have recycling, and it's like, just like hurts your heart to I'm just going to throw this all away, or I'm just going to tote it all back home so I can recycle it. It's hard, So appreciate everybody's patience, I guess, as you guys are working through this.
Mayor, are there any other updates that we don't have on our list?
We do have a convention center RFP out there as well. We did get funding last year for, speaking of grants, we did get some, actually that was just a direct allocation from the General Assembly. And so the city has an RFP on the streets right now to build a new convention center. The deadline for proposals is April 15th. So we hope to, this year, I don't know when you might actually start to see something break ground, but just know that process is working it, and there's some money there. We hope we can find some other money as well to make this as nice as the capital city deserves. And we have a new commission now. We've had one meeting behind us this year, and we've got a voting meeting on Monday night. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get this group together where we can do a strategic plan with the new faces and start to tackle some of these new areas of focus. And Convention Center will be one. You'll see some of these infrastructure things that we really have to take care of, like the Singing Bridge. But there's also other things like riverfront development, modernizing our revenue and our city operations. There's just a lot of exciting things that governments can do now that I want to make sure that the City of Frankfort implements and brings into the fold here.
Yeah. As far as the convention center goes, I know, there's nothing planned, there's nothing finalized, but is there information that you can share as far as like where you guys are looking at potentially it being, what it might not like look like, but size, functionality, that kind of thing?
I think that we put a lot of this, and this is what we want to see from the proposals too. So we put out in the RFP, and I think what I can say is the area of town, and I can speak about what's in the RFP, and there are certain areas of town where we are looking for proposals, and really it's just really one area of town. It's where the Civic Center used to be. It's where the YMCA is now almost demolished. It's a slow motion demolition, but it now looks like it is flattened and is being cleared away. And then the farmers market side as well. So those are the three locations. So it's going to be downtown, and it's going to be in that area, and we'll see what we get back. And I'm excited to hopefully we get some creative proposals and something befitting the capital city and put us back in the game of tourism and meetings.
No, there's a lot of need for it. Certainly.
And I think what's important for people to remember as well about the old Civic Center and the old Convention Center is how much traffic it brought in from surrounding communities as well. And you mentioned tourism, but a lot of the graduations from connecting counties all came to Frankfort for years and years.
I think I counted once 9. There were 9 school systems that did graduations there.
So I'm sure all of those communities are probably pretty interested in if something like that were to come here as well.
We believe we make that case when we talk to the General Assembly for those representatives and senators that have the school districts in those in their districts that use our. They understand, and they're going to also understand with the Singing Bridge as well. Now that they're in session and they're having to go over one bridge, they're going to see that it's inconvenient, and we're going to make sure that everyone knows that this is the state bridge, and how important it is to the city of Frankfort.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the state,
especially with all the work that you guys did on 2nd Street, kind of as a a path. It's a gateway, both ways.
Exactly, and it is we are at a good point in Frankfort, I think, and I said it last year. We're at a tipping point. There's so much momentum downtown. We saw 2 new boutique hotels open last year in the fall. And they're open, everyone. So I think they're both open for lunch now. So feel free to, support those local businesses. But we also saw the Capitol Plaza Hotel is now changing hands as well. They did that at the end of December. So you have all these things happening, and yet now we have the bridge that we need to deal with. So the sooner the better on that, because we need to be clicking on all cylinders, and that bridge is a big piece of it.
Yep. For sure.
This isn't on your list, so I don't mean to put you on the spot. You can just say, "No, I don't have anything." On the paddocks, they're moving. Things are happening out there. Any sort of update on how that's going? Good, bad, or as planned?
It's on schedule. Well, I think it's a little bit ahead of schedule. If anybody has seen what's going on out there, it's pretty amazing how once they changed the ramp, the slope of that ramp of the interstate, how much land is there now. So because at first it's hard to envision. Now you're starting to see how much space that they'll have to work with there. But as far I think. It's on track. The city late last year we voted to bond the money that we'll need to make our contribution to the road system,
the infrastructure.
Because I think a lot of people don't understand how much how big of a project this is. Tens of millions of dollars. of investment. That the state's doing the bulk of it. Federal Highways has helped out, but then the city's doing our share. But as far as new announcements, nothing yet.
Oh, sure, yeah. But we're on track. Things
On
are,
track.
are going.
Yeah.
That's
Target now owns the land out there that
Okay.
that they'll be locating. So no new updates, which right now is a good thing.
Sure, yeah.
And not to put you on the spot again, we actually have a comment on Facebook. And we promise it's a nice one. It's from Leslie.
Appreciate that.
And if we don't have any new information, we can maybe direct her to where to find that info. But she's asking if the city is still building a fire station
Yes.
at the old Pick Pack location.
That's the plan still. So we hope to. We are waiting on the final designs on that. We have a revenue. We've dedicated a revenue source to build this, so we know approximately how much we can spend on the station. But the plan's still to put it at the Pick Pack site.
Gotcha. I think I remember seeing some plans in some months ago in a previous city meeting.
And I think March is when we may have another update on that.
Okay.
That's the last that I saw that we would expect something. But if we have any new information, Leslie, I'll make sure we put it out there.
Awesome.
I see that we're getting ready to do weather, but
Yes.
I wanted to. It's been sort of an adventurous January so far as weather goes. City staff, everybody's been working really hard to keep everybody safe, and the plant board's been involved too. And it seems like it takes a village sometimes.
And we've received rave reviews around. I think from everyone, state government, because if you remember the state, the General Assembly opened on a Wednesday a couple of weeks ago, and it was just we were ready to roll though. The downtown was cleared out. When I walked to the office one day, I saw there was plant board, it was streets, it was public works, it was waste management. We had dump trucks, we had bulldozers, we had bobcats, we had plant board trucks.
Awesome.
Everybody was all hands on deck, and kudos to our staff who got out there and really they really shined and all working together.
Yeah,
like you said.
it was a lot of stuff. There was a lot of snow and ice and stuff to move. It wasn't just a little dusting. So
we got it out of here, and then we were ready for the next one. But I think everybody saw that what we did. That I think was an exemplary moment of service. If you will.
Yeah.
More credit to the city staff and all the local municipal folks. So
And the plant board. Thank you.
Yeah, that's right. And Mayor, we would be remiss if we didn't ask you our question of the day before we let you go. How plugged in are you on the Oscars conversation?
Well, I was listening earlier, and this is the time of year where I hear the best picture nominees, and I think I haven't seen any of those, and I'm going to make a point to watch them all in February.
Yeah.
But I have seen a couple of these actually, which I'm surprised, and so it's hard for me to say a favorite. I did see Wicked, and I did see Nosferatu, and but that was interesting. Nosferatu. I did see that Christmas night.
Yeah. I did too.
Nice. It was a different movie. To see. I had people in our party that loved it, and some just thought it was, just hated it.
Right.
So as far as a favorite, I don't know. But my favorite of those two was Wicked.
It was Wicked. Yeah. I enjoyed Wicked. We heard whistling from Kathy in the background. And my car was the same way between me and my wife about Nosferatu. That she was like, what on earth did you see in that movie? I'm like, I don't know. I loved it.
Cinematography. It was it was well shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Acting was good. It was just a little much.
Yeah, I think it caught people off guard for sure. Yeah.
What was the movie last year? Was it Poor Things? That was like, it was really pretty to look at, but it was like, man, this is kind of weird. Weird things happening.
But I guess if you're going to see Nosferatu, I mean, there is it's a remake, and there's a story you well know, so you should know. You should have expected what you're seeing.
Well, and the filmmaker
it's
as
not
well.
a
Robert Eggers does not usually go by the standard playbook either. So and those movies they'll be out there, be more available. I think streaming now that the nominations are out there, leading into it. So
I'm going to look them up tonight and kind of make after football
game plan, right?
So maybe after the Super Bowl, maybe next month when we can have you back on and share some more of your Oscar favorites. Just check in, see where you're at.
Please, I'll do that. And I wish I could do it this weekend, but we have a lot going on. KSU first pitch dinner is tomorrow night, Saturday at Student Center at KSU, and then on Sunday night is the rescheduled MLK celebration put on by the
okay.
Frankfort Franklin County Ministerial Association. So I will be there and invite the public to join us.
Nice.
Yeah. And State of the Community is next week too.
Yep, on Tuesday.
Yeah.
On Tuesday.
Awesome.
That's right. All right,
Well,
Mayor, thanks so
Mayor.
much for hanging out
Great
with
to be
us.
back. Thanks
Absolutely.
for hosting.
Yeah.
Happy to have you.
See you next month.
That's right. We'll
Do
see
it.
you in February.